Well, I covered the Halloween episode, time to tackle the winter holiday episode.
No way! Frosty! Ah, well.
Alright, the episode actually begins a week after Christmas, with Pepper Ann reading her assigned report to answer what she did over winter break. Her report on what happened is the episode's plot, but to understand the episode, you need to be made aware of something that up until this episode had never been outright explained. You see, if you watch the show for any length of time, at least enough time to see an episode with her grandma in it, you may or may not put together that based on Pepper's maternal grandparents' Yiddish accents, that she might at the very least be intended to be ethnically Jewish, this episode being the first time it had been outright stated. So, Peppy celebrates Hanukkah, but there's more to it. You see, Pepper Ann's maternal family is Jewish. The thing is, though, Pepper and Moose's father, Lydia's ex-husband Chuck, isn't.
My mother's is Hanukkah, my father's is Christmas.
Technically, she's also 1/16th Navajo on her dad's side, but her being 1/16th Diné is not important right now. Now, under normal circumstances, this isn't a whole big situation. Contrary to this year, for example, where the first day of Hanukkah is Christmas Day, Hanukkah starts on a different day and ends before, paving the way for one of the most overused jokes ever written.
It's the night before Christmas, and all the Jews are at the movies.
This is to say that Pepper celebrates Hanukkah with her mom and her family, and then she and Moose do Christmas with their dad and his. And that setup has pretty much worked to trick her entire life.
But this year, well...
Her story starts a couple days before winter break, with Pepper's friends explaining their holiday plans while they wait for the school's drama teacher, Miss Stark. Milo is going to visit his dad back in Hawaii, while his mom and his stepfather manage her muffin basket business in Hazelnut. And Nikki is planning to eschew presents this year to engage in some charity work. With that, Miss Stark arrives to commence assigning roles for the school's holiday medley, a stage play focusing on exhibiting the diverse range of holidays which are celebrated during this time. Pepper Ann asking to be both a Christmas tree and the Hanukkah menorah. Miss Stark doesn't initially sign off on this, though, due to not wanting Pepper Ann to overburden herself with having to fulfill two roles.
Please, Miss Stark, they're never on stage at the same time.
Oh, all right, if you promise not to blow it.
Is this an obvious microcosm of the episode's story? Yes. Do I personally care? Not really, no. Frankly, I'm more worried about the implications of Trinket getting to be Kwanzaa. After school at Nikki's house, while reading her script for the show, it's revealed, though not outright stated, that a significant part of why Pepper Ann asked to be both is in addition to both her parents, her Aunt Janie and Uncle Jojo, along with Lydia and Janie's parents, Peppy's Booby and Zadie, will be in the audience. So she may have felt like she had to be fair to both sides.
Oh, Pepper Ann, your parents would probably have understood if you'd just chosen one holiday or the other. After all, they are adults.
Later, while back at home, Chuck calls to let Pepper Ann know that she and Moose will be having Christmas dinner with his mother, and to get some dresses for the occasion, with Lydia and Pepper having to go to the supermarket for food after Lydia's parents show up 8 hours early. Passing by Nikki at the entrance raising donations for a food drive.
Whatchamachocolates? How did you know that they're my favorite?
We think it's wonderful that you're doing this, Nikki. Really wonderful.
Oh, yes. They're for the soup kitchen.
After returning home with food, Milo shows up dressed as an elf.
Heidi-ho, Heidi-hey, I bring a basket of yummies to brighten your day.
The reason Milo is dressed like a festive Peter Pan is that his stepdad threw out his back in some kind of bizarre tinsel incident. So, instead of surfing waves on the Big Island, Milo has to deliver muffin baskets. The next day at the Littles, Peppy is running lines with Nick, which would be significantly easier if Nikki hadn't in fact donated all her light bulbs.
The poor need light, too.
Milo popping by to announce that after one chronological day of muffin duty that he is quitting. And Nikki, to her credit, tries to help Milo see how he's doing a net good delivering all those muffins. That is, until her mom comes in to tell her that she just donated all of Nikki's old Jane Austen and Emily Bronte novels to the library. Milo advising her to try and take her own advice.
Out of here, Camelani!
Yeah, another thing if you watch this show enough is that you pick up on the fact that Nikki clearly has some pretty severe anger management problems. Which is to say that she used to be a pretty violent kindergartner. Following that, over the several days leading up to the winter medley, it becomes somewhat obvious that Peppy is a little distracted while needing to fulfill two roles in the production, in addition to trying to devote attention to both Hanukkah and Christmas preparations. Now on the night of the play, it's worth noting that Peppy got her lines down pat, and she does deserve credit for it. The trouble is, while playing the menorah, she starts singing the wrong song.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree.
Backstage, Lydia reassures her daughter that no one is upset by her flub, but she has to get back to the audience because her mother is currently hyperventilating.
I told you, Lydia, you should have made her choose a long time ago.
Well, you're right. Come Christmas Day, she's just gonna have to give us an answer. It's gotta be one or the other.
Coming to the conclusion that they're talking about her, Pepper Ann sees no other option but to finally pick a holiday once and for all. Christmas or Hanukkah. Picking back up the next day, Pepper Ann tries to ask both Lydia and Chuck without letting on that she's trying to pick a holiday on how to go about choosing between two things you care about. Lydia being able to provide Pepper with the rock-solid advice of writing a pros and cons list, then tallying the results. With that, Pepper Ann goes through the week noting the pros and cons of each holiday, including the time-honored traditions of the Christmas trees, opening presents, frying latkes, playing the dreidel for gelt, and arguably the most important Jewish tradition, watching her relatives kvetch over dinner. Unfortunately, all that she's discovered is that both are equal in her eyes, and she needs to find an outside opinion as a tiebreaker.
Nikki!
Finding Nikki at the soup kitchen, slaving over a hot bowl of stew, Milo also shows up to deliver Nikki a basket of muffins, then striking up a conversation with some jobless guys at a nearby table, only for Nikki to open her basket to find a voucher declaring a donation has been made in her name, pretty much solidifying, if you hadn't already guessed, that Nikki is severely regretting all her charity this year.
A donation has been made in your name to Who Cares?
While on her way back home, Pepper Ann runs into embodiments of Hanukkah and Christmas, who try to sway her to their side.
Just choose the one you like best.
Don't give in to winter blues. Fa la 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 la.
Which, of course, makes Peppy realize that the one thing both holidays have is family. Leaving the holiday spirits to depart for a golf trip with the Easter Bunny, after arriving back home, Pepper Ann calls her family into the living room to declare she can't pick a holiday.
That's great. Good.
All right. Wonderful idea.
Following that mildly confusing confrontation, Lydia touches on another topic, a continuation of what they were really talking about during the stage play incident. As it turns out, Lydia and Chuck's comments about her needing to finally pick one had nothing to do with Pepper Ann. They were talking about her grandma, whose hyperventilating during the production was unrelated to Peppy's Yuletide faux pas. She was doing so because a mouse ran under her chair.
Mouse?
Well, it turns out it was a free-rolling soda can.
The choice in this case was actually about the fact that Grandma had two different primary caregivers. So when she started hyperventilating, they didn't know which one to call.
You wanted Grandma to choose?
With her report now finished, returning back to the present, a news crew busts in to congratulate not Nikki for her charitable acts, but Milo. Somehow, despite Nikki pretty much martyring herself all week, Milo is the one who's rewarded with an all-expense-paid trip to Hawaii for his entire family, all because he gave some muffins away for free. But to Milo's credit, before Nikki even has the idea to tear him to shreds, he tries to give Nikki the vacation.
Did we mention it's non-transferable?
The good news is, Milo considers his friends and, of course, their families his family, and the news crew is willing to account for technicalities. So, the Littles and the Pearsons get to come with him and his family to Hawaii.